G'day everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. So we've got a little, hopefully tongue-in-cheek video today. So this is apparently the things what not to do when visiting America. The don'ts of visiting America. So if I ever get back to America, maybe this will turn out to be good advice. Let's jump in and let's have a look at this, shall we?
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're in Mystic, Connecticut, in a beautiful place here in the U.S. And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting the U.S. because anywhere you go in the world, there's things you should do, but there's also things you shouldn't do. And this video is going to just cover the U.S. in...
Now, remember, this is his opinion, so if you have a different, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to know if there's a difference of opinion. Let's see what he says.
General, okay? And our first don't for when you visit the U.S. is don't touch the Americans. Look, Americans really like their personal space. It's like they have a bubble around them, and if you get too close to them, they feel very, 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 very uncomfortable, okay? So make sure you give them a little distance when you are there, you know, because I know when I go to Italy...
I mean, everybody likes their personal space. I don't know if that's... Maybe it's different. I don't think we're touchy-feely in Australia. I don't think so.
In Spain and stuff, we're like, Mark, how's it going? All this stuff, and my
Europe is different, I believe, but
American friends sometimes go, wow, they're really, really affectionate. Like, that's just how it is. Here, space is key. The second don't I have for you is don't count on public transportation. Look, when we were in China and we were throughout Europe and South America, we took buses and trains and planes and all kinds of stuff to get all over the place because public transport is really developed.
Public transport in Australia is terrible. Terrible, expensive. The best place I've seen for it is Melbourne. They have a free tram around the city. Brisbane, terrible public transport. Scotland, on the other hand, when I lived there, fantastic public transport. Fantastic. Australia, not so much. I guess America is the same. I thought they had like the underground, maybe it's just certain cities, but I thought they had pretty good public transport all the time.
Here in the U.S., you cannot count on public transport to get you a lot of places. Yes, in big cities like New York and Chicago and stuff like that, you can get around for public transport and it'll take you where you want to go. But a lot of towns, small towns especially, in middle-sized cities, the public transportation networks are not very good. And at night, sometimes it's not very safe. So that is kind of a frustrating thing. So yes, you're going to probably have to rent a car when you come.
I don't know if I'd do public transport at night. Any country. Well, I did in Scotland, but I don't know if I'd do it anymore. But, I mean, I wouldn't even take public transport in Australia. I don't know.
I'm here, okay? So just have a heads up for that. And that kind of leads into the next don't I have for you is don't underestimate the size of the U.S. The United States, it's, you know, continental U.S. is like continental Europe. It's huge. I mean, would you think of driving from, I'm going to do, go from Lisbon to Paris and then go up to Tallinn and then head down to Sofia? No, you're like, that is insanely far. It's the same thing when you come to the U.S. I meet a lot of travelers that are like, I'm going to fly into New York, grab a car, drive down to Miami to see Miami Beach, and then head over to LA.
We get this all the time in Australia. Australia's roughly on the same kind of size of America. We just have nothing in the middle. We don't have all those cities in the middle. But you hear it all the time. I'm just going to do this road trip. You can drive in my state, Queensland, for 3 days and still be in the same state. Queensland is 3 times the size of Texas, so it is huge. I don't think people understand how big it is, so I understand that one completely.
LA, I'm like, dude, you got 2 weeks? You're going to spend the entire time in cars. The distances here are insane. So what I recommend is picking a region. So, we're going to stay here in New England and see New England. Or we're going to go in the southeast, go to Atlanta and Savannah and Charleston, things like that, or visit the West Coast. You do that to get a better idea of the culture there and things like that. But also, it's just the logistics things because it's so far between the places. And to go along with that, for Americans, a 3 to 4 hour drive, that's a day trip. Like my parents live 3 hours away. I will literally get up, go drive, have lunch with my mom, and then drive back home just for lunch. 6 hours in the car. No big deal. It's about 7 hours.
We do that too. My mother-in-law lives about 2 hours away. We do that all the time.
Start to think, that kind of is a long drive. And we drive the entire way through. Okay, this isn't like, I must stop every 2 hours and have a 15-minute break. Oh, no. No. We drive all the way through, okay? Now, my next don't for you when you come here is don't think that the sticker price is the end price. Look, in the U.S., we have sales tax. I know other...
I don't understand that. I know we have Americans in the community here, and they tell us about sales tax, and then you got the sticker price, as they say, but then you got to add stuff to it. Why not just have it in there? Like we have GST here, goods, services tax, all included. Whatever it says on the price, that's what you're going to pay. That's confusing. And then some people tell me different regions have different taxes and different states, and it's like, too confusing.
Countries, they have VAT, value-added taxes. They're already put into the price of products. So when you see, it's $1 or €1, I only pay €1. In the U.S., it is not like that. We have sales tax, so a certain percentage is added onto that product. And the thing is, I cannot tell you what the sales tax will be where you're going to travel because it's different everywhere. Cities, states, counties, different products have different sales taxes. And some...
Obviously, there are clips glasses. I like that. I like his little humor here. But that's so confusing. Different regions, different states, different taxes. That's confusing.
Products don't have sales taxes. Some cities don't have sales taxes. Some have 10% sales tax. It can be different anywhere you go. So if you're going to go get your dollar menu item at a McDonald's or a Culver's or a wherever, it's not going to be $1. Where I live, there's 2 cities right by where I live. One, it's going to be $1.08. The other one is going to be $1.09. So be ready for that. And it's not just the sales tax. Also, there could be the tipping on top. And that leads us into the 5th don't, and that is don't forget to tip. Look, in the U.S., you tip 15 to 20% at a sit-down restaurant, okay? Now, McDonald's, stuff like that, no, you don't tip at a fast food place, but it's a sit-down restaurant where they bring you your food and stuff like that, you will tip them 15 to 20%. If you are in a group of 6 people or more, sometimes they automatically put the gratuity on there, which sometimes can be 18% or something like that. Look, when you come to the U.S., there's a reason why the food is like so affordable. You're like, wow, it's cheap to go out and eat in the U.S. It's because there's kind of this understanding that the service fees and paying for the workers and the waitresses and stuff like that, that goes on to you, the person eating there, with the tips. So the food and stuff can be cheaper when you go out.
Yeah, so we don't tip in Australia at all. I've never tipped in my life. We'll come back to that.
Eat. And I know a lot of people say, I don't believe in tipping, and tipping isn't the right thing. They should pay their people more. Well, if you want to pay more for your food, they can do that. But they don't, okay? So tipping is something we do here in the U.S., so do tip that 15 to 20%. Oh, also, if you're at a bar and you're buying drinks, you're going to want to tip a couple dollars here and there. Otherwise, the bartender might not be too quick to come back and get you your next drink.
That kind of goes against the idea of why you're tipping. You're tipping for good service. So if you're not tipping, they're going to give you bad service. So then you're not going to tip. That just seems like a vicious cycle to me. It's almost like, I know people are going to complain. It's almost like blackmailing you into tipping. If you don't tip me, I'm not going to give you good service. Well, you're supposed to give this good service first before you tip. I don't know. Let me know. I'm assuming some people will have some ideas about that.
So following off of those tips, what you need to realize is our next don't is don't be freaked out by the over-the-top service and free stuff you sometimes get in the U.S. Look, because of tipping and commissions and stuff like that, yes, there is a lot of over-the-top service here. But the thing is, in the U.S., the people actually are pretty nice and they want to help people. And sometimes for some travelers, if they come from countries where people don't get a lot of service sometimes, it can be a bit much, so don't freak out about it. Also don't be freaked out with some of the free stuff you get when you go to restaurants. Look, if you go to a restaurant and they bring you bread and water or chips and salsa and all those really good things, that's included in your meal. Okay, so if you're going to be buying something, they're going to give you some free stuff. It might be some bread, it might be a salad, it might be a water, it might be something like that. So don't be like shocked when wait, I didn't order this bread, I didn't order this salad. Oh no, that comes with your meal, okay? Now the thing is though, you can't just go in and get chips and salsa and walk out, all right? You actually have to order some food when you go there. Now my next don't for you is don't smoke cigarettes in the U.S. If you're smoking cigarettes in the U.S., people will look at you like you're trying to kill their baby. Cigarettes is like totally verboten, like people really frown upon it, which is funny because when they talk about
It's kind of the same here in Australia. You know, we've pushed everybody out, you know, who have cigarettes. You can't smoke in any buildings, obviously, stuff like that too. So it's been like that for a long time here in Australia.
marijuana and stuff like that, people don't seem to care as much, but cigarettes, oh, you're trying to kill my baby with that cigarette 2 blocks away. So if you do smoke, make sure you try to find a place where you can smoke, because a lot of restaurants, or pretty much all restaurants, hotels, stuff like that, have smoke-free. It's smoke-free, so you got to go like 15 to 20 feet away from doing things, so that can be something. So I've come here outside my favorite liquor store to give you the next don't, and that is don't try to buy alcohol unless you're 21, or cigarettes unless you're 18 or over in the US. They will not sell them to you. And the thing is, don't forget your ID, because if you look like you're 40 or under, they may ask you for that, and don't get mad at them, because if they don't ask, they could get in trouble and get fined. So don't be surprised, because we've had friends that have come here, try to buy alcohol, and they're like, sorry, you don't look old enough. Oh, I don't have my ID. Too bad. And the thing is, it's not just the person buying. They might ask anybody with you, so make sure everybody has their ID if they want to buy liquor, or they want to buy, well, they want to buy alcohol, or if they want to buy cigarettes. So just FYI on that one.
It's 18 in Australia for I think is it 18 for cigarettes? I think it might be 16 for cigarettes. I think it's 18. I can't remember. I don't smoke, so I don't know. But definitely 18 for alcohol.
Oh, that's also another don't I have for you is don't bother with a metric system when you come here. We don't use we don't use meters. We don't use kilometers. We don't use liters. It is inches.
Okay, this one is really going to get some comments. I fight all the time people in the community about bloody metric system. Just use it. Everybody else does. What's so hard? Just bloody use it.
Feet, miles, gallons, pounds, things like that. And I'll put a conversion chart here to show you. But honestly,
well, depends if it's a British gallon or American gallon. They're two different things.
You may say, hey, how far is it to this next town? And they'll tell you, oh, it's like 60 miles. You're like, what's that? Just know 60 miles, it's about 100 kilometers, okay? So just do that, because the people here won't get it. I mean, I have people, when I'll tell them, oh, it's 100 meters away, they're like, 100 meters? It's like 100 yards. Oh, okay. So make sure you do know your imperial system, okay? Because metric, we don't do that so much here.
And the temperature as well, and, you know, everything else. The way you do your dates in America, forget about it. What the heck are you doing?
Next don't is when you do come to the U.S., there's a couple things you don't talk about, okay? One is gun control, and two is politics, because no matter where you are, you will get people on either side of the spectrum, and they will have an argument with you. So it's best just to lay off those topics, talk about the weather. Oh, wouldn't it be nicer if it was sunny today and we could go sailing? Yes, that would be much better than discussing gun control or politics. Just putting that one out there for you right now. Now, my next note for you is don't assume that all the U.S. and
I'm not touching that at all.
all the Americans are the same. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, you're a typical American. Well, it's like saying you're a typical European. Look, the U.S. has all kinds of different cultures, all kinds of different people, all kinds of different topography and scenery and stuff like that. And when you come here, don't assume it's all the same. You will see regional differences in cuisines and how people treat each other, and how everything looks, all kinds of stuff. So don't just think there's just one kind of American. They're all fat, slobby guys with ponytails. No, there's actually a lot of skinny people in America too, not just fat guys like me and my buddy Jeff. There are those. So don't assume it's all the same, all right? So do go out and explore. And that's why I always say is if you're going to come to the U.S., go and explore different regions, because you'll get a really different feel. Because going to the southeast and seeing the plantation homes and going to see the southern towns down there versus going to the northwest and Seattle and Portland, or going to San Francisco, or going to the Midwest with Chicago and Milwaukee, you're going to have a very different feel, which is really a cool thing to do. And you start to understand is, wow, the U.S. does have a lot of different cultures within it, a lot of different feelings. feelings when you go around here. And following on with that, I guess I would say another don't assume there's no culture in the U.S. because there are a lot of cultural centers out there. If you go down to New Orleans, you see a very rich culture there. You go to New York or Boston, here in New England, you have a very distinct culture. In the Midwest with Chicago, Milwaukee, you go to the West Coast. I mean, there's a lot of different culture here. Historic culture with the Native Americans or more recent culture here. I mean, you have all that here you can really take in. And saying there's no culture in the U.S., it's not really true because there are all these...
Wait, what was that? Was that sponges? I think that's what that is, isn't it?
Take in. And saying there's no culture in the U.S., it's not really true because there are all these different cultural centers with great museums like the Art Institute of Chicago or the Met in New York, the Getty in L.A. There's all kinds of stuff you can see and do when you are here. For a cultural trip, it's not just seeing beautiful landscapes and seascapes like we are here in Connecticut. There's a lot more to it than that. Now, my next don't for you is one that I kind of get a lot of questions about. We actually have a video on this, and then that is, don't think that how are you or how's it going is actually a question. Look, when we say how's it going, how are you, these kind of things in the U.S., it's not a question, it's a statement. It's like saying hi. Okay, just take it as a hi.
We do that in Australia too. Obviously, g'day mate. You know, we don't expect, oh, how's it going? We don't expect an answer. It's just a pleasantry to say, you know, small talk. We don't really need an answer. It's just something we say. Okay.
Because a lot of people say this. Everyone asks me how I'm doing. When I try to tell them how I'm feeling, they're like, "Well, I was just saying, how are you?" Here, how are you is just hi. Think of it that way. It's like in France, ça va, ça va. How's it going? How's it going? We're good to go. In Portuguese, tudo bem, everything good. You answer back, tudo bem, everything good. It's just, how are you? How are you? You move on. Okay, so don't think it's an actual question. All right. Now, another don't I have for you is don't expect a lot at the fancy hotels. You know, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to pay more money for this hotel. I'm probably going to get nicer stuff, like a nicer breakfast, better Wi-Fi. Oh, no. For some reason in the U.S., it seems like the nicer the hotel, the more you have to pay for the things you think would be free, like Wi-Fi and breakfast. So don't feel like you have to stay at the fancy hotels, because honestly, if you're going to be going out and exploring, you just need a couple beds, right? So stay at the hotels in the U.S., and the cheaper ones will give you free Wi-Fi, free breakfast, all these kind of things, which is really nice, so don't expect that from the fancy hotels. Another don't I have for you is don't skip out on the local food. Look, we're here in New England. We're here in Connecticut. We've been having lobster and clams and, oh my God, the New England clam chowder. Oh, my tummy is just like, more. It's fantastic. And when I'm in the South, man, Southern fried chicken, mac and cheese, barbecue. Oh my God. The food in the different regions in the U.S. are great. So don't just go to chain restaurants. When you go to your hotel, ask them, hey, what's some local restaurants around here? What's some locally owned and operated restaurants? So you can go there and check out those places because they really give you a great experience. And I find a lot of times those ones actually have better service than the chain restaurants because it's a mom and pop place where the owner is the ones helping you out. And that is really kind of a cool thing. Now, my next don't for you is don't get sick. Look. Healthcare in the U.S. is insanely expensive. And just because you come from another country doesn't mean they're not going to find you for the bill. All right? So if you're going to be coming here, make sure you get travel insurance or trip insurance so in case you do get sick or you do break an ankle or you do break an arm or something happens to you, your insurance will cover it. Now, you might have to pay it first and your insurance pays you back, but at least you'll get something back because healthcare here in the U.S. is insanely expensive. Okay? So make sure you're prepared for that.
Yeah, I've heard that before, obviously. We do have free healthcare here in Australia, but I have heard, obviously, horror stories of American healthcare system. Pretty scary, that's for sure.
And I guess my last don't I'm going to have for you is one that people actually got mad at me for when I lived in other countries when I told them the U.S. has 50 states. And they said, no, the U.S. has 52 states. Look. Don't think the U.S. has 52 states. The U.S. has 50 states, okay? Just a heads up on that.
52? Where'd they get 52 from?
That one, I'm sure that people are going to be commenting down below that when I was in school, they told me 52. No, there's 48 on the mainland, and then Alaska and Hawaii are 49 and 50, all right? So those are our don'ts for visiting the U.S. What are some of the don'ts you have for the U.S.? Because I know there's more out there. I just want to get some of these out there to help out travelers heading to the U.S. just so we can get things going. Anyway, if you like videos like this, we have stuff on what the don'ts of going to Russia, the don'ts of going to Germany, the don'ts of going to Brazil and things like that. And we really like helping travelers with honest travel advice. So if you like this video, do click that subscribe button. It means a lot to us, and we put new travel videos out every Wednesday and Saturday to help great travelers just like you. So I'll say bye from Connecticut and have a great time in the U.S. because don't worry, you will. It's a fantastic place.
Okay, that was interesting. Like I said, some of the stuff I knew, some of them interesting information. Tipping, we won't go over that again. That's you do what you do when in Rome, as they say. As I said, we don't tip here in Australia. It's not expected, and I don't think anybody would accept it even if you did. But some of them was interesting. Gun control, I'm not even touching with the barge pole. That's your guys, whatever. You do you. But some of obviously good advice, like try the local food. Interesting about the expensive hotels. The more expensive hotels, maybe some of them do offer free Wi-Fi, whatever, but sometimes you got to pay for it. It's like, okay. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember the last time I even stayed in a hotel. In Australia, if you went to a fancy hotel, you would expect that. You would expect free Wi-Fi. You expect something free in the morning, like a breakfast, continental, whatever. You would expect that, so interesting information that is. So as he said, if you have some more don'ts, let me know in the comment section. I'm sure there's some comments there that there'll be comments in the comment section. So be gentle. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Some don'ts when you're visiting America. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next reaction video. Did you enjoy that video? Why not watch another one?